is Rick. That's Dylan. Joining us virtually as always. Dylan, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing good. Dad, you doing all right?
Doing well.
Nice. Nice, guys. We're back with a full slate this weekend. We had NASCAR at Atlanta. We had Formula One at Austria. Forgot what series I was talking about there for a second. Lando Norris back in victory lane. Wild Atlanta race. I didn't catch it live, caught the highlights. So Dylan is going to be our main focus when it comes to that because he got to watch a little bit of it. We did catch. I know I personally caught probably about 20 something laps of the Formula One race. I know you went back and rewatched it. Dylan, I didn't know how much. I couldn't remember what you said about how much you caught of the Formula One race.
Yeah, I caught a good bit of it. I missed the first 15 laps or so, but the rest of it I was there, pretty much watched it, had it on.
Okay, I can catch you on the first 15.
Okay. So we got Formula One to go over. We got NASCAR at Atlanta. In-season tournament is broken already. Ty Dillon has beat Denny Hamlin, so I'm pretty sure that wiped out everybody's bracket.
How'd you like his little comment?
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it says, "Sorry, all you Denny Hamlin fans, I just beat your driver."
Oh my gosh! So we got that to go into. Dylan's going to give us. He went and seen the Formula One movie this past weekend. So spoiler alerts all over. I already put it on the description of this video. He is going to tell some spoilers because Dad and I could care less about spoilers, and especially if they're F1 because we kind of know how this is going to go because this movie's already been made. This movie was made. Driven with Rocky, or I say Rocky, but Sylvester Stallone made this movie back in the day. So, Dylan's going to have to tell us his thoughts on that. Anyway, Dylan, do you want to go ahead and start with a spoiler alert, buddy, or do you want to get into some racing? It's up to you.
We can go ahead and start off with the. Well, we can do that at the end. How about that?
Okay, it's up to you. I just don't want you to forget anything because you had some good stuff that you told us beforehand. So,
okay, yeah. All right. We'll just go ahead and get it out of the way.
All right, take us through the entire thing.
All right. Well, we got what 2.5 hours. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start the dialogue.
I need you to repeat the score with your mouth, make the sounds and everything, Hans Zimmer style.
Yeah. The takeaway from it was I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was really good. You kind of have to set yourself apart from the Hollywoodness of it. They did good representing racing. It's just how Hollywood gets. So there's a few things here and there that would probably annoy a purist, and I think you had even warned me about that when I told you that I was going to go see the movie. But obviously there's a big wreck scene. I think most people have probably seen clips of that.
Yeah.
That's not realistic at all. I would hate to hit sausage curbs if that's what it does to you. But in the driving, that was the other thing. This was kind of what it's throughout the movie, but the driving, people they're kind of like, trying to over dramatic. I don't even know how you explain it, but being over dramatic with the driving maneuvers, and you can't just go straight and then go for an overtake or something like that. So if you can get past that type of thing, that which is very minimal, like it's not hard to get past it. But if you're able to set all that aside, then you'll probably enjoy the movie. After the movie, and I want to say this before I forget, my wife saw it with me. We got back to the truck afterwards, and she said, "Well, I thought that it was very emotional and gripping." So that was her comments from it, and she was being sincere about it. She actually enjoyed it, surprisingly.
That's good.
So, but yeah, I think the first 20 minutes, the movie opens up with Brad at Daytona, or I should say, Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt's character. at Daytona. He's driving for a Porsche GT3 team. I think it's a GT3 Pro Am class car. I
Yeah.
think that he had the green winglets or sideboards on the wing. Uh, so I mean, everybody kind of knows that too because you've seen the car, you've seen the advertisements for that. But the only thing that bothered me in the date, well, I'll back up a little bit. Daytona was awesome. Intro was really cool. Um, the sounds in the movie, how they replicated the sounds, the Porsche. I mean, they got it's actual. I mean, I assume that it's actual audio from whatever
Yeah.
it is. The in-car cameras, the helmet cam that they all use, all great. All throughout the movie, all the cameras are great, phenomenal, and all the angles and all of that. And one particular thing, he gets out on the pit road, and like you can hear the pit limiter kicking in. Just details like that. Like you can hear
Yeah.
the pit limiter. They switch to like this onboard camera, and it literally looks like the actual onboard camera that they would show in the race. Basically, same type of angle, view, and stuff like that. So it made it feel very, very much real. Um, so two things with the Daytona scene. When he's out on track and he just immediately, on cold tires, he's making passes. But he's like splitting people three wide and, making like little crazy moves and just the driving, he's just like kind of all over the place, not very smooth driving that like you would see in real life.
Yeah.
Um, the next car that he gets behind, he breaks an oil line or something, you get oil all over the windshield, stuff like that. Just like one thing after another happens, and then he gets into a battle with somebody, and the fireworks go off at the Rolex 24. Well,
Yeah.
for no apparent reason, the fireworks decided to just burst all over the track. Don't know. I guess Hollywood thought it'd be a great idea to, instead of just having the fireworks going off, let's shoot fireworks at the track. Let's
What?
just shoot them at the cars. Just fireworks just busting around their little 2-car battle going on down the backstretch type of thing. So that's the one thing that I can get past the driving. You got to kind of
Yeah.
over dramatize that, but the fireworks was kind of like extra. Like that's not needed. You got fireworks in the sky already. No need to shoot them at the cars.
Yeah. And it's not like it's random people setting fireworks off at Daytona anyways. It's Daytona
yeah, they had
official
like
people doing it.
and they captured the actual fireworks that go off during the race. They had the cameras rolling for that. Or my only other thing was maybe they filmed these scenes during the night practice session, maybe something like that. And they did, but either way, the fireworks that you typically see at the Rolex, that's what it looks like. But
Gotcha.
just with the added effect of a couple of strays got onto the track. That's the best I can explain it.
Hollywood.
Yeah. So, but honestly, like the entertainment factor of it beyond the little firework weirdness was great. I was entertained. The angles, them going through the bus stop,
Yeah.
it was all pretty cool. Honestly, I mean, I could sit there. I'd be willing to sit there and watch 15 more minutes of nothing
Yeah.
but Daytona footage after that.
Hey, shocker. It seems like they actually had it at Daytona rather than Ford versus Ferrari where it was in California.
Yeah, I
So-
know. I was bummed to not see California advertised as Daytona.
Oh.
So
yeah.
yeah, that's it. Sonny Hayes' character is kind of just like a drifter. He he was a Formula One star or up and coming star. They reference him when he first comes to the team. They kind of reference him as like you weren't a has been, you were a never was type.
Oh.
And they say that because he was in Formula One at the beginning of the '90s. It looks like Senna was in a McLaren, red
Okay.
and white McLaren. And then Sonny's character was portrayed as being in the yellow camel in Formula One car. And one of his first races, he was like the rising star. He was supposed to be like the next Senna, basically, is how they portray his flashback background as.
Yeah.
And he got I don't know what I feel like I saw this wreck, you know, in history, one of those videos of worst wrecks in F1. But he came dislodged from the car, basically just laying on the track.
Yes, that I've seen that wreck before. Yes, laying with just like the seat attached to him.
Yeah. Legs kind of crossed over each other, just laying there. I mean, I've seen that. I don't know if it's specific scenes, but I've seen that pretty 90% accuracy of that happening to someone, and I don't remember who. In his case, he was trying to pass Senna on the outside of one of the Brands Hatch turns. It was a right-hander at Brands Hatch. I want to say, maybe like turn 5, one of those high-speed right-handers out on the back area of the course.
Wait, did you say Brands Hatch? You said?
Yeah.
Well, I tried that on ACC. Just let you know that is a terrible racetrack for me. Anyway, sorry.
Did you end up on the pavement, just laying there?
I didn't end up on any pavement. I was in the grass most of the time. So, but no, I didn't. No, I was in the stands, if anything. So.
Yeah. No. So, the background is he was with the Camel team. He had a teammate that raced at the Camel team, and this teammate is the owner of Apex GP.
Gotcha.
So that's his connection of how he is called to come back to that Formula One team.
Okay.
And they have the number 1 driver left and went to another team, and so the seat is open. You got Joshua Pierce, who is the rookie. I don't know if it's for his first. No, yeah, I think it's like his second season in Formula One. If you put all the facts together.
Okay.
But or the movie facts together. So I think it's like his second season. He's still considered a rookie, honestly, and so they want Brad to come in and try and help the team. They haven't scored a point in the 2 years that they've been open. The owner's in debt. The board wants to throw him out. The board agreed to bring Brad back in because, well, I'll leave that part out of it. But
Okay.
there's reasons behind why the board agreed to let him get a hold of Brad and bring him back in, even though Brad is this, I don't know, 50-year-old, possibility.
Well, hold a second before you get too far here. The whole super license thing. When you he's got to be like 40, 50 years old, you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, he's pretty much, Brad. What Brad's age is in real life, I think, is basically what he's trying to portray in the movie.
Yeah, I just don't. That's where the Hollywood, like you're saying, comes into it.
Yeah.
Because getting a super license, first of all, he wouldn't have been eligible for a super license, but
oh no, even if sorry, it's even worse. 61.
So he's supposed to be so he's Martin coming back, is what he? Jeez Louise, he's Martin jumping to a new platform of racing.
Yeah. And that accident happened in 1993.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail you there. It just kind of, when you're saying the age he's at, I'm just thinking it's just the Hollywood portion of that whole thing of that. Yeah, if they knew how much it took to get a super license, this could be like a 6-hour movie probably. So
yeah. So with this whole intro thing, you've got Daytona. The movie starts out at Daytona. They do their thing there. He ends up getting a watch and stuff. And it's kind of weird, like his character, like I guess it's bad juju for him to like touch a trophy and stuff. So like he doesn't want the Rolex trophy, he doesn't want the watch. He's like, all right, see ya, I'm on to the next thing. I don't want a full season drive, in this Porsche car, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And he's got Baja 1000 marked on his calendar for like with an ad that says like driver wanted. So he's marking out his trip, to driving his van across country over to Ensenada.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's when the Apex GP old friend tracks him down, some laundromat in Florida, whatever. And a few scenes later, he shows up with at Apex test day at Silverstone, and this is
Okay.
when the opening credits roll. And this is the Hans Zimmer comes out, or this is where you're met with the Hans Zimmer soundtrack. So I think that that Silverstone test, uh,
Yeah.
as like the intro credits are rolling and the way that they just have all the angles set up, it you feel like it's a big production movie. You got the Hans Zimmer music that's starting to play. You've got these different various camera angles, the way that they're trying to show off all of the Formula One technology and the pit box and this. It's just a really cool scene.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good, and the Daytona part was really good. I like that whole first. I don't know how long it is for all of that intro stuff. Maybe the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the film. It's 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, it's a long
It's
movie.
like 2 hours, 31 minutes, something like that.
Wow.
So
the movie's longer than an F1 race.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah,
Jeez.
I'll be talking about the intro for days on how good that was. But the rest of the movie, I mean, there's a lot of cameos going on. There was some type of driver, whether he was getting passed or passing Apex, something was always going on the track wise with, cameos and whatnot. The F1 movie is a land of where Sergio Perez is still at Red Bull.
Yeah.
You could see them standing on the stage for, the anthem stuff before the pre races. So you're always going to see Sergio up there and the other ones that are going to be from the 2023, 2024 ish maybe season, mostly 2023, I think.
Yeah.
But and then the racing really with the F1 part of the movie was it. The wreck was kind of Hollywood, but I don't know. Besides them trying to dramatize the driving moves, right? Switching left and right, back and forth. This prompted me with a big old mansplaining conversation with my wife on the way home, as she was asking me about my opinion of the movie and stuff with all the racing and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, they're not sitting there and doing that. I'm like, in Formula One, it's a penalty if they even twitch their steering wheel a second
Yeah.
time. I said, when you're going to overtake, like, they're only allowed one move. They can't sit there and go back and forth all day long, and they can't sit there and weave back and forth down the straightaway with each other and all that sort of thing, which what happens. So it's kind of like Bortoletto and Alonso today for the entirety of a race. But overall, I think that it was good. All the racing scenes and stuff were pretty good. There's that movie aspect to it, but Brad's character Sonny is kind of like he's a wild person on track, but
yeah,
he also has all these like tricks up his sleeve, which is funny. It makes the movie entertaining because there's a whole bunch of race manipulation going on with
whoa
What?
what
Yeah.
whoa
That don't happen.
first couple of races, Sonny's like sitting there causing safety cars and stuff to try and get the rookie up into the points and whatnot. But the rookie's like, "What the heck is he doing? He's messing up our race," But Brad's got like this master plan in his mind. That like, he can stay out on these tires, he can gain spots as everyone else pits and this and that, and then he can hold them off. It's just
What?
it's funny. It's very entertaining. Because Sonny Hayes has this plan C for chaos type thing. We're not
Oh
going
my
with plan A
gosh.
or plan B. We're going with plan
You're in
C
Ferrari
for
strategy.
chaos. Yeah. They took a lot of notes from Ferrari for sure. Yeah.
Hey, question: when they went to do the Silverstone audition or whatever that was,
Yeah.
did you happen to go back to Days of Thunder when Cole Trickle went to Charlotte?
Yeah, it's yeah. Instead of riding in on a motorcycle, he just comes walking down pit lane.
Bag over shoulder.
Bag over shoulder. Said he got sent to the back gate because the security guard thought he was a maintenance guy showing up.
Hey, if he would have rode up on a Harley, I would have been like, "What?"
Yeah. But no one knows who it is. They just see this guy just walking with a duffel bag down the pit lane. So the team principal is like, "Whoa, what is this? Who are you?" Type of thing. And so it's one of
he's
those
American
things.
though, right? He's American in the
Which one? Sonny?
Jim. I said Jimmy Bly.
Sonny Hayes.
Sonny Hayes.
Jimmy Bly.
Jimmy Bly.
Yeah, Sonny is full-blooded American.
Okay, making sure. Got Logan on here. Logan's
talking,
it's funny.
I was thinking about Driven a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago. It just popped up in my head, and I looked for it just to see if I could watch it or something during the day.
Have you watched it lately?
I have not. It's been probably 4 or 5 years since I last saw it.
Buddy, it's a work of art. It's a masterpiece. I don't even know why they even had to remake. They basically remade it with Formula One, but they didn't have to because the kart / IRL / whatever series that Jimmy Blythe were running in.
Yeah.
Does Sonny Hayes do the 3/4 trick? Like where he tosses the 3/4?
No, he's not on Stallone's level.
No. That's funny. Hey, I just love Burt Reynolds' character sitting in the wheelchair, and he's like, flip, like turn it over, and the tire has the last quarter on the opposite side.
Oh yeah,
so it's kind of funny.
No, Brad goes out there and destroys an F1 car for his debut thing. So they went the opposite direction with that.
Gotcha. Okay, well, that's
but
different approaches. Different approach.
Yeah, no, it was entertaining overall though. I think that you should at least see it once because I think it's entertaining. Don't sit there and dissect it. For all the racing and all that type of thing. But
that's all this guy's going to do over here. I guarantee you, he's going to be like, you can't do that. And then I guarantee he's going to watch it one night and he's going to text me, "Did you see this movie yet? This Crocker." It's going to be like that. I guarantee you. I'm pretty sure I'm going to, whenever that is, I'm going to be be texting y'all about it too. So
I feel like they could have done a better job with the ending. I didn't quite like how all that. Well, with the ending, it's actually as we were closing in on it, I thought I was like, okay, this is how this is gonna end and stuff, right? And it actually did not. I was surprised at how the ending was, and then the actual end of the movie. I was kind of it was okay. Like I think that they could have done a little bit better of a job to set up, a little bit nicer ending. I don't know. I thought Brad's character may evolve into like, all right, I'm gonna, there's a fork in the road. I'm gonna do this, but instead he stuck with the, his usual path that he's had throughout the movie.
So basically, he crashes out at the end of the year. The Josh Pierce person goes on to probably win something at the end of the race. So yeah.
That's what you'd think.
Okay.
That's what you. Well, no, I mean everybody. They act as a team by the end of it, right? Um, but yeah, I don't know. It didn't end the way that I thought it was going to.
So Josh Pierce gets fired. Brad becomes CEO. No, I'm just kidding.
He becomes Nui.
Yeah, new.
Yeah. No,
Same
the
age.
racing ending. I thought that it was even though it wasn't what I expected. I thought that the racing ending was really good. And then the actual movie ending after the championship is over, the racing's over, all that. That part I'm kind of like, I don't know. They may have been able to do a little bit better job, but I see why they wanted to do what they did.
Okay. So
It's
this
more
is
of a
not
personal thing.
okay. So it's something with the lady probably win this.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, Sonny's like a drifter, right? He
Yeah.
really wants that Baja 1000. So
That's where he's going.
he's
You coming with me? Yeah, baby.
he's gonna make it
Okay.
the Ensenada one way or another.
Gotcha. I gotcha. Okay. Well, cool. You don't have to give too much there because I know you don't want to spoil it for everybody. So
There,
okay.
yeah. I mean, I'll just say that there's a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot. There's one or two that wreck. Like I do not ever want to hit a sausage curb like that ever in
Yeah.
my life. That I hear they throw you pretty far into the woods. But just like the after effects of the wreck, uh, relationship wise is just, I don't know. I was taken aback. I was it was like out of left field how people treated Brad after that. I'm like,
Okay.
there there's radio communication of him saying like, don't pass him yet. Don't pass him yet. But then you're gonna blame the guy for this other guy, trying to pass someone else. I don't. It just
Oh, I
the
got you.
the way that it was brought up. I was like, if you're gonna take that route for the drama in the movie, you've got to add some type of substance.
Yeah.
So you got to add some substance before you just randomly go off into that direction of how you're gonna take this whole aftermath of the wreck fiasco. That was one thing that I was kind of, it caught me off guard.
Oh, hey, at least if it caught you off guard, it's definitely going to catch us off guard. So, anyways, what would you rate it though out of 10?
Overall, I would have to give it a high score just because of the camera work and the details that went into it. Everything around it, they tried to make accurately as possible. So I
Okay.
have to give them that. No matter if you find like two or three racing scenes kind of silly,
Yeah.
I don't think it doesn't affect the overall score for me. Like I would give it out of 10. Go with like 8.5.
Whoa.
Dang.
Dang it, man.
I was gonna say
Dylan, it's
8.
Formula One, Dylan. It's Formula One.
I was gonna say 8, but I'm like, I'll give it an 8.5.
That's a
Some
big
people,
half point there, bud. That's huge. You know what I'm saying? That's like saying
I ain't worried
think-
about the half point. It's the 8.
I
think-
would.
some people may come out of there and say like, oh, it's a 2 or a 3, just because they're very strict on like, oh, if you're gonna make a racing movie, like it has to be just like real life where we're sitting there watching qualifying laps being done for an hour and a half
Gotcha.
type of thing,
Okay.
Like if
Okay.
you sit there and run actual F1 race, where there's nothing going on, right? It's just lap after lap after lap. When they get into certain races like that, then that may make somebody else happy if you kind of put aside the, certain things that are accurate about how Formula One racecraft is and stuff like that, and allow them to make it a little bit more entertaining for you to sit there and watch the racing stuff, then um, I think you would give it a high score.
Okay. So he's more than the story, more than Formula One's the high 8. So
Okay, that's for the emotional part.
yeah, the
Yeah.
emotional, the engaging or whatever your wife said there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she knows how to get on YouTube too. So you got to make sure you say the right part there
Yeah.
and mean it with feeling.
Emotional and gripping.
Gripping. That's what it was. Okay. Just like this episode of After
Oh,
Checkered, it's
she
emotional.
said edge of her seat too.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's where the 8 comes in.
She watches
Yeah.
you race, so I would
I was
think she
like-
knows what edge of her seat.
Yeah, I don't know if she was talking about like because I took a turn too hard going home and she was on the edge of her seat, or if she was talking about the movie. Either way, she said it was edge of her seat.
Okay. Well, cool. Dylan gives the movie 8.5. Logan in the chat said he's going to go see it soon. So Logan, hopefully he didn't spoil it for you. And we're definitely going to need Logan's input next week on the show after he sees it. So
Hey, there's a few spoilers, but I left. There's a whole lot more to it though. So
okay. Well, cool.
I got to ask one question because I see it up there. Logan wrote, did they all did the movie end up with them all going to Applebee's?
no,
That would be cooler.
they left that to Ricky Bobby.
Oh, nice. Oh man, that's weird.
Oh, I did.
I forgot about that.
I put it on Days of Thunder today, and my
Yeah.
wife was like, "Is this Talladega Nights?"
Oh my gosh, how dare her?
She's like, "I've only seen Talladega Nights." She's like, "I don't know about Days of Thunder." I'm like, "This is like the 5th time I've had this movie on with you here, with you in the same
Louise.
room and
Hey,
talking about it."
I watch Days of Thunder yearly, preparing myself for Daytona 500. It's something I watch every year before, like the day of. If I'm not at the racetrack, the day of at the house.
You like the intro music?
I love it. I love the intro.
Yes. See,
Oh my
you're gonna be watching this F1 movie, and you're gonna be like, "I'm just watching it for the intro, the F1 intro music."
Yeah, and the next thing you know, we'll be like Dylan. We'll be like, "Hey, it's a
It's
9.5.
catchy.
It's a 9.5 movie."
Trace comes back
Grip-
and he's like, "It's
gripping
11 out of
emotional.
10."
Yeah,
It's gripping and emotional.
yeah, it's gripping. All right, cool, awesome. Appreciate you walking us through that. He said, "Boo." That's funny. Sorry, I apologize. Anyways, let's get into some racing here. Do we want to go Formula One since we're on Formula One movie, or we want to go Atlanta? Let's get the crazy out of the way first.
I got one more question to ask.
Okay, go ahead. Gosh.
Dylan, it's not a realistic F1 movie if they didn't have the pit walk, the grid walk. Did they have Martin Brundle on it?
No, they've got Will Buxton on there doing.
Oh, boo! He's not
Like,
even in Formula One anymore.
He's like standing outside of headquarters, and he's like, "Oh, today at Apex GP," doing the typical media stuff. But the
Dang,
grid
they
walk,
missed their
they do
shot
have
there.
grid scenes, or grid walk time frame scenes. Everybody's out on the grid, but they don't have Brundle, walking through doing interview stuff. And I don't remember if I saw Yuki. He may have been too short for the cameras to
No, zinger.
capture.
Got him. Hey,
The-
you hurt. Yeah, we're going to Formula One after this because you hurt Yuki's feelings because Yuki decided not to show up this weekend. So.
Lord.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of cameos in the thing. There a couple of them are a little cheesy. With Brad interacting with the other F1 drivers, but they're just trying to get the point across that they're in F1.
Yeah. Okay.
But you know how Days of Thunder has it's only like 2 cameo moments of real drivers in there.
Yeah, in the first part. Yeah, but then.
Yeah, and then like at the end, right before the 500, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna see how Cole Trickle does," coming back from this wreck and driving Mellow Yellow or whatever. Throughout this movie is short scenes here and there where where F1 drivers may say a word or two.
Okay. Pretty quick, probably.
Mm.
Oh,
Max
okay.
flipping off Brad was probably like a top 5 moment in the movie, though. It was pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. Pretty funny. All right. Anyways, all right. Let's get to Formula One. Let's go ahead. Let's just do it. Rip it, Dylan. Dylan, your thoughts. Let's get your thoughts since you're fresh. Formula One. You're in the Formula One 8.5 vibe. Let's roll with it. What's your thoughts? Formula One race today, Austria.
I actually wrote some notes down here for this stuff.
Whoa.
One thing I got to get out of the way is Austria. They're, Spielberg, Austria, Red Bull Ring.
Yeah.
The final 2 sections of the track, well, the final corner and then that final little short shoot straightaway heading to the final corner. I like how they have that little gravel strip there just off the track to kind of make people, say like, hey, if you're going to go over the curb, like you're going to find yourself in this strip. There's no way around it. And then you have the asphalt beyond that. So no one's getting stuck in a gravel strip. As long as they hit that gravel strip, though, they're gonna have a hard time, or they're gonna have a tough time. So I think that I'd like to see that tried at a couple of places where track limits are a thing, not just F1, NASCAR road course, that type of thing.
Okay. Hey, I like the idea. They've had issues with Austria track limits for like the last several years, I feel like, over there. So
yeah,
that's a good idea.
Those strips may have been there for 4 or 5 years, but that was one thing that I just noticed, and I was like, they should probably implement that at a couple of, don't go crazy with it, not every corner, but just a couple of known areas, where the runoff is kind of ridiculous.
Definitely made a distinct sound when they run over them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rumbles do have a funny sound there. But anybody, you want to go next? Go.
No, let Dylan finish.
Okay, Dylan. Yeah, go. My bad.
Just we got Nightmare Day for Red Bull. I mean, they could probably just bring back Danny Rick and get the same stuff going on, but have a little bit of a personality in the second car. Ferrari had a good day. Mercedes was not a good day. Great day for Steak Sauber Racing.
Yeah.
And great day for Lawson, finishing 6th, I
Whoa.
believe.
6th.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then probably the highlight of the race was the Bortoletto and Alonso battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and doesn't Alonso manage Bortoletto?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hugged it out there at the end. But I don't know if if y'all caught the very first of it or not, but you could tell Williams's day was going to go to the crapper. Quickly.
Yeah.
Everybody pulled off for the parade lap except Carlos. He's sitting there. Car wouldn't go, and so finally the other cars are still going around the track. They decided that with this deal, they're going to have to get him off the track, but they're going to have to do another 10-minute cool down before they start. Well, by the time they figure that out, Carlos gets his car going. So he gets going around. Everybody else is coming and set on the grid. Carlos comes into the pits, and he goes all the way through the pits down to like he's going to start at the race at the very end of pit road or grid or whatever you want to call it. And then his rear tires just catch on fire. The brakes and all just catch on fire.
Oh my gosh.
And so they're having to run down there with fire extinguishers and everything else and put that out. So anyway, so yeah, I mean that got off, and I think Albon had his time, and so they finished at the very end. But yeah, Max didn't have a very long day today. So anyway, Kimi Antonelli.
I missed this part. I heard it in the background. I was feeding the baby this morning. And all of a sudden I heard Max's day is over, Kimmy's day is over. And then I walked right into McLaren battle. And that's where I come in. It's between McLarens there.
Yeah, Kimmy looked like somebody checked up in front of him, but he said he hit his brakes and they locked up, but he was going way too fast. I think he anticipated everybody braking later, but that wasn't the case. And then he darted out here, and then time he got right to the turn, he nailed Max. And that's all she wrote for them two.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
They were, oh, man.
Antonelli was pretty much like a missile going through there.
Yeah. A dart with no feathers, buddy.
Hey, that car looks like a missile, so it makes sense. So makes sense. Yeah, and then I the part where I kind of come in was when Oscar was in DRS there. Basically saw all the way up until the pit, till Norris pitted. Norris had a great move going up into, what was it 1, 2, I would assume, where Oscar had the DRS up in that second DRS zone, and then Norris played it just right where to get behind him to get it, and then get it DRS in that third DRS zone there, was able to get back by him. So I thought there was going to be a good battle, but with the tire degradation and everything like that, with Oscar sliding the tire and Norris coming in for pits, to me, this is just my opinion here, and I know we're trying to get into this a little bit, is Norris Oscar locked up into like 4 or 5, whatever turn that was, locked up trying to dive bomb Norris. Lando there at the end, or there, that right there. And then basically when that happened, Norris comes in for a pit stop, and then they're like, "Hey, we're going to keep you out to Piastri. We're going to keep you out to see what your pace is." And knowing that he, at that point, Oscar was slightly faster, seemed like at that point, I thought they left Piastri out there on purpose. I thought so. To me,
they asked Oscar, did he want to either come in or get the fresher tires on the back end, and he said he would go with that. He knew he was going to be 4 seconds behind Lando coming out of the pits, but he'd rather have the fresher tires at that point.
See,
but he only stayed out 4 more laps on his tires, so I don't know. But he also come out like 6 seconds behind.
He did. I got
because they had a piss poor stop.
So. Well, they had 2 stops. Lando had a 3.1 stop, and then that's where I thought, I was like, oh, this is going to get good, because if I'm Oscar, I'm wanting to come in right now so I can make up that difference and maybe get out in front. But that wasn't the case. They leave him out there, like you said. I missed the part where they asked him. So by the time I got back to it before church, it was 6 seconds back of Lando, and I'm like, well, this is over with. So
right.
So that's all I caught of the race. Dylan, did you see anything else, or do you have an opinion on the McLaren thing?
I think Oscar, when he did that dive bomb move, I think he was just trying to spook him, or spook Lando into maybe doing a flinch there right at the last second, and it kind of makes a easy pass for Oscar. But I think you put a little too much faith in that happening, because Lando didn't budge. He was just like, I'm turning in, and if you hit me, you hit me. You're going to be the one getting a penalty, basically. Yeah. So that it didn't work. It worked out, but it didn't work out right. So I heard McLaren saying that was too marginal of a thing to pull. So that was, I shouldn't say it was surprising to hear, but I feel like it's kind of surprising to hear. But it wasn't
surprising to hear for this guy over here as a Lando fan. But
no, I think Oscar, at the end of the day, at the end of the race, they asked him in the podium, and he said, yeah, he kind of made some moves that weren't probably appropriate, or not that appropriate, but where he shouldn't have took the chance, the risk.
Yeah,
because it could have took both of them out.
That's fair.
Yeah, it was.
Coming on the heels of last week.
There's no doubt or defending that. It was definitely the marginal of what they said.
I just wouldn't have said it in the race, I guess.
Like immediately back to him.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. It'd been later.
I don't know.
You want to cut him, like, you want to, like, jab him in the chest with, like, hey, man, back off.
Yeah.
During the middle of the race?
Yeah. Well, they tell him to overtake, but let so and so by all the time. Everything else, say, hey, that move was a little risky. You're gonna wreck both of us. So think about those moves before you do them.
I know, but the way they said it could have been different. Is all I'm saying.
Listen, they patted that guy's ass, or excuse me, but
whoa,
for a while.
Mom,
Man.
get him,
Yeah.
mom.
But they have. They need to talk to him, or else they know what's at stake.
Hey, just.
He's
it
fired
took 2
up.
seconds. It took 2 seconds to fire this guy up over here. Can you imagine one day when he's retired and he doesn't have anybody to work wise? He is going to be off the rails on this show.
He's gonna have a whole laundry list of things that he's been holding back.
He's gonna come like in on the office when Michael comes back in after his roast, and then he's gonna say, "Dylan, boom, roasted. Trace, boom, roasted." That's how he's gonna get it all out there. So, but no, hey, I love the fire though. Love the fire. Keep it up. See, he's too reserved now. He's going back into his hole.
No.
But
he was trying to say that Oscar overstepped the papaya rules.
Yeah, the limited rules they have. Evidently, somebody thought, well, maybe we need to say something before he barreled, because he didn't dive bomb him just once today. He done it a few times.
Yeah.
So
Oscar is very aggressive.
It don't need to happen. I mean, if you're that close to him, get him with DRS and pass him down a straightaway.
I do think he was behind him for a couple laps. The tires were probably going away. He had to try to make a move.
No. And he needs to be a better driver and figure out how to do it on a straightaway. You're risking 2 cars right there.
I'm trying my hardest over here to get this guy going again.
He
patted his what?
This whole McLaren thing at the beginning of this year, I thought that it would be Oscar causing an issue, like going for making a move that's going to mess both him and Lando up. But then Lando comes in out of nowhere with Canada and just completely demolishing a car. So after that, I don't know. I don't know who's gonna. I don't know who's gonna be the breaking point.
But you stick a mic in his face. That was a stupid move. My fault. 100% own up to it. I'm just kind of sure if Oscar wouldn't have to confide in Mark Webber to find out should he admit fault or not, because he's the number 1 driver.
You only admit fault if you're the number 2 driver. And are you number 2 driver? No, you are not, sir.
That's right. You're number 1. Don't ever let me hear you say you're number 2, Oscar.
Yeah. If you do, I will fine you as your agent. Yeah, no. But no. So, it's sticking with the McLaren thing here. It's what, 14 points or something like that? 15 points?
Yeah.
This is going to be great. It's all going to come down to mano a mano there. If Dad's guy can catch up to our guy, Dylan, I feel like Dylan and I are on the Piastri chain, and Dad's find himself on a lonely island with just Lando.
That's all right.
Which is kind of scary.
I'm a closet Norris fan.
Whoa. What?
He took that to a new level, didn't he?
Wait, did you say you're in the closet with Norris? Is what you said?
Don't come out.
No.
Hey, that voice you just heard is Dad in the back in the closet in the back there.
No, I'm the guy. I go check on him. I knock on the closet, make sure he's still in there, ask him if he wants some food and water or anything, and then I go on about my way.
Need some milk and cookies in there, guy?
Well, he had a good weekend because every time he got in the car, he was the fastest one on the track.
Yeah, I will say, to me, if he was, I know Oscar didn't get a shot there at the end in Q3, like a full blown shot. I'm not saying that Oscar would have been able to contest, but it did look like Norris was the fastest car, leading into the race the whole weekend. So I will give him that. He is fast, and it is that, as we can see, there are some tracks that they are both fast. Some tracks that are Norris is just fast, and some tracks that are Oscar's just fast. So,
and chipping away, he had to get back by Oscar.
Yeah,
today. and he gave him, gave him an ultimatum. Either, like you said, either hit me, get a penalty, or take
Yeah.
us out. Whatever you want to do, it's going to be your call.
Yeah. Yeah. No, so it's pretty interesting there.
How about only what 6 cars finished on the lead lap?
That's wild, man. I was looking at
And
that.
one of those is including Liam Lawson of all people.
Hey,
Yeah.
put him back in the Red Bull. He never should have been pulled out. Put him back.
He probably don't want to go back.
I wouldn't go back. There's a lot of pressure, and that car sucks. Probably.
He's finishing better than Yuki on average, I think. Maybe, I don't know.
It's
Definitely
probably
today,
close.
though.
Yeah, definitely today. Probably pretty close though. Probably pretty close.
Bring Danny Rick back. He's entertaining.
How about did y'all catch the part of the race where Hamilton? Of course, there was a delay going on, but Hamilton didn't want to pit. He wanted to. He says, "How's my lap times? My tires are not falling off. Let me keep going." And it's funny because with the delay, he's arguing. You hear him arguing while he's on pit road, but he didn't win the battle. They ended up boxing anyway. But yeah, he was as another one of those Ferrari conversations on the radio. It's kind of funny.
F1 movie, Apex GP.
I thought, dude, I did not expect. I didn't know what was coming when you said that.
They got some tire situation that's very Ferrari reminiscent. So Lewis did some foreshadowing with that as a producer.
That's pretty funny. Pit now. No, don't pit. Oh God. Yeah, that was so funny. Monica was wild. That's so funny.
But the whole time he was keying his mic going, I don't want to pit. I don't want to pit. And he's driving down pit road. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that was the delay kind of made it even funnier.
But overall takes of the race. Dylan, give us your final thoughts on the Formula One race and the battle we're about to see going forward.
Yeah, so kind of a crazy race, really. It's all of my picks for the entire weekend are just down the drain. And you got to think, like, 4 of the cars that were out of the race are top 10 contenders. So that really shook up the top 10 of how the race played out. So,
yeah,
it was, fast track. Odd, only 6 cars finished on the lead lap. That's a little odd, but yeah. Seeing if Piastri was going to chase down Norris at the end, with the lap traffic that was involved, that that little added level of excitement, not quite on your edge of your seat, but it added a possibility there, And then the Bortoleto and Alonso thing, really, between those, the McLaren battle and the Bortoleto and Alonso battle, those last 5 to 10 laps were pretty good.
Yeah. What you think, man?
I was trying to figure out which driver was it, because you start saying Bortoleto and then there's a couple more, then they all start running together. But which one run Oscar off the track?
Colapinto ran Oscar off.
Okay. That could have had, because he was less than 2 seconds, right at 1.9 seconds back. Yeah, I think he finished 2.2 seconds back or something like that. But just that little off track excursion, you could have lost a second right there, which could have put him in DRS zone and may have had a different outcome, to the end of the day. So there's a couldas, wouldas, and shouldas right there that are legit for Oscar to battle for the win right there.
Oscar made a comment saying, "What Alpine still trying to screw with me to this day," or something like that.
Yeah, but I think it was a good weekend for Lando. I think it could build some confidence in Lando. He had to fight back a little bit, and he didn't put it in defense. So he kind of maybe acting like he going to be a homer here. So kind of act like he owned it today.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So you're giving him a lot of confidence. Is what you're giving him.
No, he just felt like he owned the weekend. I mean, he was every time he went on the track, he was fastest car out there.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to FP1. Was he not in it?
No, he wasn't. They had the Dune guy in there.
Okay, so FP2, FP3 qualifying.
Yeah.
He was fastest car. But I think Oscar had the fastest. Did Oscar have the fastest lap? He had it for majority of the race. I don't know who ended up with it, but yeah. But I think it was a good weekend for Lando. Bad weekend for Williams. There's, I think Sauber having, like I say, having both of them cars in the points. That's I don't know how many times that's ever happened. This might have been a first, but anyway, top 10 looks a little different today than it did all year.
Yeah, especially with only 6 people on the lead lap. So, definitely interesting with the wreck on the first couple laps there, or the first lap. So for Max and Kimmy and all that. So, just interesting to see how this is going to play out. Going to Silverstone this weekend, they'll be out there. So we get 2 back-to-back here. Going to Lando's home race. So Lando does Lando put it in victory lane? As the Brit that he is. Do we I know Pit Road Picks, we'll put our official picks on there. So we'll check that out on Thursday night on our show there. We all know who Dad's gonna pick, but you never know.
I see Mercedes being strong this week.
Okay. We'll be interesting. Don't get into it now. We'll get on Pit Road Picks.
Okay.
Pit Road Picks. We'll get into it. But anyways, so we got a 15-point lead for Lando to try to overcome.
Yep. Slap me.
First of all, no, definitely not. Anyways, I don't know what you and Lando are into with this whole.
He's in the closet with him.
Yeah. Well, both of y'all technically slap me anyway. Okay, is that how he gets? Yeah, never mind. Anyways, Lando's got a 15-point.
Had a Pulp Fiction flashback on that one.
Save it, old man. You are treading thin ice right now tonight. Anyways, Lando's got 15 points to overcome to get to the lead, is what I was going to say. To get to Oscar. We'll see if that can turn things around. Maybe Lewis will have a good run at Silverstone. I think he's got the most wins there. I can't remember if he has active wins there. So you never know. He did good in a terrible Mercedes in 22 or 23 or something like that. So maybe he can overcome a terrible Ferrari and get a good finish there for his home crowd there. So we'll see how that turns out. It'll be first time in a Ferrari there at his home track. So interesting to see. All right. NASCAR. Let's go. We're going over to NASCAR. Dylan, this was a wild show by the highlights that I've seen. I know we were at the dirt track on Saturday and you were texting us and everything like that. In-season tournaments screwed right now. I know ours is the one we picked on Pit Road Picks. It's over with pretty much for us. But your thoughts on Atlanta? Action-packed, very entertaining race from what I gathered. The clips I saw, maybe not for us as Larson fans, entertaining, but definitely entertaining overall is what it seems like. What are your quick thoughts here?
Yeah, our in-season bracket just B2 bomber overhead
cluster bomb.
Just
is that too
dropped us? So
yeah.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that wreck. I don't even know what lap it was on. It was decently early. It was in stage 1 of the race.
It was like 60 something.
Yeah, stage 1 was pretty lengthy. I felt like it may have been stage 2 that the wreck happened. I can't remember, but it was in the first half of the race for sure.
Yeah,
and I just kept seeing them piling in on each other, and I was just before that the wreck before that was Blaney, so you already had that happen, and then the next wreck, it was just obliterated the field. I really think I'm kind of harping on this wreck, but I really think that changed the entire rest of the race.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
that would. It was huge.
It changed the entire race because I feel like the ones that were running in the top 5 at that point, they just kind of cycled their way up there. And this was including Chase because from what I remember in the first part of the race, he wasn't really up there swapping the lead and stuff like that. He was more maybe like 10th ish, something like that. I mean, he was running good, but he just wasn't a reoccurring leader, And so I feel like that top 5 or so kind of cycled themselves to the front, and then this wreck just happens, wipes out a whole lot of cars. And if it doesn't wipe them out, it sets them back for a few laps with the whole damage policy and everything, right? So it just changed the total last half of the race with that. And it, on one hand, it could have made it a little more entertaining because you don't have the typical people that were going to sit there, swapping positions for that last half of the race. But yeah, beyond that, it was good to see Brad leading some laps there towards the end. I wish he would have been able to hang on. That would have been cool to see. And Waldo found an acorn.
Hey.
So he probably really needed that as a confidence booster for the team, just to remind themselves that they're still there. They could still do this thing. I did like how Chase had that car. I guess it was for Children's Hospital or Foundation.
Yeah.
And that girl designed the car and whatnot. So it was cool to see Chase get the win for that, and have that situation there and be able to represent like that, especially with a special paint scheme, and just the way that Atlanta raced there at the end was pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
Handling issues and whatnot. So I think next year, I'm interested to see how Atlanta reacts to next year's race, or the surface reacts to the cars being on it next year.
Yeah. What you think?
I don't know if anybody in the history of fantasy NASCAR picks ever wound up with a negative 0.5 for the week.
This guy did.
Yeah.
It's bad.
And again, this is like the second race this year that I wound up with the 40th, 39th, 38th. And that comes from the pole sitter to the fourth place guy. I mean, they just fell, and you lose more points as they fall. And oh boy. So yeah, that when you texted us about everybody on our picks just wrecked. I was glad I was at a dirt track. It's just
yeah.
That allowed me to quit thinking about the points and then or the betting and everything else, and just concentrate on staying in focus and getting your shutter speed right and everything else. So
yeah.
Anyway, it was kind of I was wondering what the heat. I don't know if the heat and if it was slick or anything else or whatever. It sounded like it was a bad push, on what caused it. But that track's kind of narrow right there, and the racing deal right there. So when that happens, it does just what it did. It takes everybody out.
Yeah.
The closing rate.
Yes, closing rate. Yeah, because you said, I think you texted us that you was it Chase may have stacked everybody.
Well, Chase was leading the outside line, and the only camera angle that they were showing at the time with the replays was kind of head on, like they're coming at you, kind of. And it looked like just everybody just came up on him, and people were letting off, so then they just stacked up and ran into each other. But I think Chase had a sizable space between him and the next guy in the outside line. So when Hamlin and whoever he was with, I don't know if he was getting the push or he was pushing somebody, but they kind of just, I don't, they had a really good run closing rate, but there's nowhere to go with it, and they were just staying in it basically, and just it just all went to chaos right there. But I think that those first two got separated. Chase and the guy that was second behind him in the outside line just kind of got separated there, and it slowed down their momentum. So then the closing rate just became so fast for that next 3 to 4 guys that were hooked up in the outside line.
Yeah. And it looked like where Denny got turned sideways was like the worst possible spot because it was like right as everybody's getting into turn 3, he's sideways. There's really nowhere to go because everybody already started fanning out. So the guys behind either stacked in to the stack or went low and then stacked into the people on the bottom. So when he turned sideways, it kind of created the barrier of like, there's like, I think at one point in the highlight, you show everybody there's nothing on the other side of Denny at one point, and it's just like a wall of cars, and everybody just is running into that. And then I think Larson on the bottom, I know I was watching him, he was on the bottom, peeled off to the left, and then all of a sudden here comes the 87 just right into the side of him. I was like, okay, well, Zilch just tagged him there. But there was nowhere to go. Like even he was in the grass at that point, and Zilch couldn't go nowhere else. So, yeah, I don't know. Zilch ended up finishing 11th too, so that was a pretty good run for him. But I don't know. The race, I mean, to me, and this, I could say the same thing about Chase fans, is that when my driver gets out or gets in trouble, like my enthusiasm for the race kind of dips. So obviously on the Gluck poll this week, being that Chase Elliott won, this is going to be 1,000% liked race on this thing. So it's going to be a little swayed, but I don't know. To me, Atlanta, the racing itself, the product is great. I think they've hit on something here. The lack of grip, like you're saying, hopefully next year it'll be a little bit less. I think even this year, it's obviously a different style of racing that we've seen from the previous year. Even with everybody kind of doing that half slide move, like how Larson put Cindric in the wall in the springtime. Like I feel like I've seen a couple more people do that as far like a half slide, and then they kind of just kind of run the guy up and where he has to get out of it. So it seemed like that's kind of catching on, that move and everything like that. And then I think at one point Elliott kind of pushed Brad out of the way a little bit on that later in that race, that towards the end when he got the lead, kind of shoved him out of the way.
I don't remember. I mean, Chase was making some I don't want to say crazy moves, but he was going left and right, making some moves. He was taking people 3 wide, and he was really driving a little bit with a little bit of extra confidence and desire to win. Really, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very very possible that he kind of shoved Brad out.
Yeah. And then down the backstretch on the last lap, Alex Bowman was definitely not going to push Brad to past him on that. So I was kind of not saying upset that Bowman got third, but and it was, I mean, it's good for Brad. Brad needed a good finish, but obviously second, it's not going to help him at the moment. So they need to win. But overall, I thought it was very entertaining, the stuff that I've seen. So I would assume the enthusiasm was there from the fans. It was on Max and TNT this week. Was it on? I know it was on Max for sure, but was it on television or does anybody know on TNT?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I had to figure that out.
It was on. Well, the main broadcast was on TNT, and then you had that alt broadcast with Jeff Burton and Larry McReynolds on True TV.
Gotcha. That's for the in-season tournament, which I thought was cool that they had the alt cast there.
Yeah, I should have flipped over to that. I forgot to.
Yeah, I'll probably be watching that because I mean, not say I'm tired of Dale Jr. or anything like that, but it's the same with that. Adam Alexander's good though, so and him and Letarte, but Jr. just doesn't. I'm just not not saying I'm a junior fan when it comes to that, but I know I'm going to get wrecked on this. But
There goes our show.
He's
well, it
passionate.
was already in the dumpster, anyways. Huh?
He said he's passionate. Get off my
He's
boy
very
for being passionate.
But it's the same. It's the same thing. Anyways, I don't know. I digress. But I don't know. Thoughts on the race? Would you, as far as the Atlanta, you good? You like it? How it's trending, Dylan?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how it races next year. This race, I wasn't putting all my pennies in the same jar with saying that it was going to race differently. I kind of expected it to be the same as it was earlier this year and not anything drastic. And I, I think that it showed me that it did race differently, even though we're only a few months from the last race, and so that kind of gives me a little bit more confidence that it's going to race a lot differently next year. But TNT broadcast, though, I just wanted to ask. Well, you didn't really. I don't think you caught much of the race.
No.
No. I was going to say, what do you think? This is the first TNT broadcast compared to Prime and all that. I don't think that a network broadcast is going to compare to Prime just because there's some extra stuff going on there, that extra flexibility with Prime. Prime had that college game day feel to it, pre-race and post-race and all that stuff, which was, I think that's what is probably going to stick out in a lot of people's minds. So when you have this TNT network broadcast, they might be limited on that stuff. However, if they're going to have an hour of pre-show, I feel like that they could probably have a stage or some type of mobile stage at the end of pit road or whatever, kind of like Prime has, and or in the infield, wherever they want to put it, and have that little bit extra.
Well, what did you think? What were your thoughts? You're probably the only person who got to watch it on there.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of my thing. It's same people in the booth, right?
Yeah.
So that part doesn't change, during the race. Just kind of the pre-race, post-race people changed, or a few of them changed, I believe. And I don't think there's any. I didn't see Carl, so I'm pretty sure he's not a part of that. So that's
probably not.
I liked Carl being a part of the Prime stuff, so that was cool to see. So I'll miss that. I don't know. I'm a Prime fan, so
yeah, I think
I'm
so.
Probably...
Dude, I'm telling you right now, if they told me like, hey man, $100 for the whole season or something like that, I'd do it. Do it in a heartbeat. I'd do it in a heartbeat. As long as I get all the info, radio, and stuff like that. But what were commercials like?
I saw a lot of people complaining about the commercials. They did a side by side. I don't know if it was only for like green flag that they did side by side, and then during caution would be full screen commercials.
Yeah,
but I can't remember that part. But I did see a lot of people complaining on social media about the amount of commercials again. Yeah. So it was probably at the usual amount, really.
Yeah. Well, that's Logan hits it with these comments, man. That's so funny. Carl was back on the Amish farm in Missouri. Logan doesn't disappoint with these things, man. That's so funny. Yeah, no, I was kind of curious how the commercials being back, because I know with the lack of on Prime, especially for green flag stuff, I'm actually like you said, kind of upset that it's gone, because now you have to get back to regular scheduled programming, which is not going to be nowhere near as good. So I wish we could have it back. So
hey, I like it better than Fox. So
that's good.
There's that.
Anything's better than Fox, man. So anybody? Well, I should say. Anyways, truck stuff, ARCA stuff is tough to watch. Jamie Little is a great pit reporter. She's a great reporter in general, but she is not a color commentator by any means. Give me Kurt Busch. Get Kurt Busch up in there. I take Kurt Busch. I mean, I'll take Kurt Busch or Michael Waltrip, and give me Phil Parsons. I'll take them three over Jamie Little, but there's just no. It just doesn't have the same effect as like Rick Allen when Rick Allen used to call the trucks, and that's crazy. At one point in time, we had Rick Allen for the truck series, like him making them calls. Like I miss that. Like I wish he'd come back. So for the truck series stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, Rick Allen was. I'm a fan of Rick. I like how he called races and stuff, and I think that Rick had a good relationship with Dale and Steve in the booth. So I don't
Yeah.
know if the dynamic has changed, and I haven't paid that much attention to where Junior and Steve being in the booth with Rick versus Junior and Steve in the booth with Adam Alexander.
Yeah. Well, Dad hated Rick Allen because the only reason he hated him is because when Ty Gibbs won at Road America in 2022, I want to say 22 or 23, I can't remember. When Larson was racing in the Xfinity series up there, this is probably 22. I want to say maybe 21 or 22. I can't remember, but Rick Allen threw so much on Ty Gibbs for beating Kyle Larson, and Dad's over here. Do you want to reenact some of it?
Nope.
No. Yeah. See, he's still a little bitter about it. But now he dude, I just remember Dad's like, he goes, I can't stand Rick Allen for all that. You really don't want to comment on that?
No, not really. I mean, the only thing he can do is tell you that Kyle Larson was a champion and Ty Gibbs just beat a NASCAR champion.
Yeah, that's
and everything else. And good.
That was so funny.
Are they equally on tires? They this, they that, and everything else? Nope, that wasn't it. It's just he just beat a NASCAR champion. So anyway, and he wasn't, and he just every breath he was just saying over and over and over. And he's got a great voice for TV. He's got a great voice for radio and everything else. And I just couldn't get past that day of hearing him talk about that.
He would fit in at
he always has to point out stuff that, tell us something that Ty's doing besides beating the NASCAR champion.
We're getting him started over. He's
tell
going
him how good a road racer he is, and tell us that he's in a Gibbs car, he's in a great car, he's in this and everything else. But no, he has beat the champion. Little kid just off the tit, and just come in here, he's breastfeeding 5 minutes ago. Now he's beating the NASCAR champion.
Does he know Larson does not have Cliff Daniels on the box right now? Does he know that Hendrick just started their Xfinity program back up? Does he know? Like it was.
You just thought they'd been doing it forever. So
it's all right, there, big guy.
Well, I think Rick would be a good fit over at MRN.
Hey,
radio.
Yeah. Hey, it'd be just Larson. Larson going around turn 1. Larson going around turn 2. All right, now to you, Doug.
But as much as I don't like the one race that we're in talking about here and everything else, watching him on Dale Jr. discuss how everything went down. I mean, man, I think got treated pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I don't think it was for the same reason that I'd have done it to him, but no, just kidding. But I really think the networks really screwed him on that.
Yeah, I think Dale Jr. and this is nothing against Dale Jr. To me, I think I have a conspiracy theory that it was Junior that got him gone. It's because Junior didn't want to be what do they call it? Like Junior wants to be a play-by-play, not. And I call Jamie Little a color commentator. She's a play-by-play person, not the color commentator. Junior wants to be more than the commentator. He wants to be play-by-play, and that's what they were. The whole slide job thing and all that, they were kind of putting him to do more. He wanted to do more and kind of getting him in that way. And then that was it Darlington, Rick Allen said on that podcast where they were just like, after the first stage, he kind of just like, all right, he goes, he took off. Yeah. He left for the whole race because there was nothing for him to do. So, I don't know. So to me, conspiracy theory, Dale Jr. pushed out Rick Allen. So
he's telling me this as we're watching the podcast.
Yeah.
And he said, it's funny the way his take is the guy that was sitting across from him interviewing him was the one that got his job.
Yeah. It's a power play. That's what the way I took it, as like Dale Jr. is like saying I hold all the keys because I'm the guy, and it's a mind thing. So he makes wood now, man. That's what he's a woodworker now. Dale Jr. completely like ruined his whole thing. Anyways, I'm not gonna get too far into that. That's conspiracy theory, Dylan. I don't have my aluminum foil hat, so it's just me. So,
Yeah, I don't have enough tinfoil over here to let you borrow.
Wait, I don't know if you'd have enough tinfoil from my big ass head, anyways.
Both are.
Yeah, for sure. So we'd clean Winn-Dixie out. So, anyways, enough on this. We're good. We're good on that topic. Anyways, going to Chicago this weekend, July 4th weekend. This race should be at Road America.
Chicagoland?
Probably worth shipping. Huh?
Going to Chicagoland?
Yeah. Chicagoland. Yeah. Chicagoland. Yeah. So hopefully everybody has a great time. No one gets hurt. So, hopefully I heard a lot of the Mexico City stuff, I should say. People come back very like dehydrated food wise. They were diarrhea, all that jazz. So, it's kind of funny, but hopefully you definitely not gonna have that problem up there. So, we'll get into pit road picks on Thursday night. We'll get our picks for all that. That's another doubleheader for us. Formula One and NASCAR racing again, same weekend. So should be pretty fun. Quick thoughts, Dylan. Final thoughts for the show. It could be either about NASCAR or Formula One or both. Go.
Yeah, just Atlanta, good race. Weird one, but I think that it was still good and entertaining. It'll probably be a mostly positive on Gluck's poll. I believe that's tomorrow. And then, Formula One, bit of an odd race. Only 6 cars on the lead lap at the end. A little bit shorter track, faster lap times, just over a minute, a couple seconds over a minute. But yeah, there was some good battles during that race. So not too much negativity or to complain about or anything like that.
Yep. Sauter.
Atlanta, if everybody's going the same direction, it puts on a good race. But when somebody don't go the same direction, we've seen you can wad up 20 or 30 of them.
Yeah.
So that's the only bad thing with the speed they're going, the closing rate and all that good stuff is just like that guy said at the track the other day, because I've seen it all happen in front of me, but you can't stop these things, can't stop them. So Formula One, interesting how short, kind of quick the track was, to be so short as it was, the times and everything else. It was a compact little track compared to the rest, maybe, but it was an interesting little circuit, I thought. Great outcome for me. Y'all not so much, but anyway, it was I thought it was a good race today, and that's about it.
Yep. I will leave y'all with this quick thought before we leave and get out of here for NASCAR situation. Chase Elliott is now in second place in the driver points, fellas. Somebody we did not see a couple weeks ago, or like 5 or 6 over a month ago for sure. We didn't have him pegged to be in the talks about going for this regular season championship. But with Larson's bad day and Byron's bad day, Chase Elliott now sits second, 37 points back, and Larson is 42 points back. So looks like it's going to be an all Hendrick top 3, hopefully, battle to the regular season championship here. So, Larson hasn't led a lap in 5 races. So Larson's Indy / Coke 600 curse is still alive, fellas. Yep. Just letting you know that.
So Chase is definitely leading the competition meetings at Hendrick now.
Pretty much. I think it was Chase that sabotaged Larson's IndyCar. That's another conspiracy for another day, but that's for me. So, but no. Anyways, we'll get out of here for the night. So we'll leave everybody else's conspiracy theories out. So, anyways, check us out Thursday, Pit Road Picks. we'll give our picks. Hopefully, we do better than last week because I think it didn't do so hot. So we'll check that out. We'll recap this weekend on Thursday, and then like I said, you can find everything. We do YouTube lives on every Thursday and Sunday nights for the NASCAR and Formula One race, and then we do the same for our picks on Thursday night. Everything can be found pitroadnetwork.com, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Dad's TikToks. You can find over there for a lot of our grassroots stuff. And then if you want to listen on audio, Spotify, Apple, iHeart Audio, or Audible, and Amazon, all that, iHeart. You can find everything on there. And we appreciate Mr. Logan coming on the show or chatting with us on the show. We appreciate it. Y'all guys have a great week. Be safe. July 4th on Friday. So God bless America. Say it.
God bless.
All right. There we go.